I'm John Pearl. I'm the design director at Gunfire Games. I focus mostly on the cinematics, story, and lore in Remnant from the Ashes.
I'm Ben Kierton. I'm a principal designer at Gunfire Games. I work on the player progression team, the player package teams.
My name is Court Sos. I'm a principal technical artist at Gunfire Games.
Derek Large asks, how far in advance did you know you wanted to do this DLC? From the beginning, we were thinking what we could do with DLC. We built a lot of stuff into the game to kind of hint at some of the ideas that we go through in Subject 2923. So it's really fun to kind of go back and flesh out those ideas and really expand upon those and make an entirely new campaign.
Draco Wolf 92 asks, what are your favorite parts of the community that you've built with Remnant? One of the biggest things that we get out of our community is just a constant level of feedback. There's such a huge interest in the game. There's like this level of trust that we have with them. We really love the collaboration that we get from them. It's all of us that do interact with the community, be it from boss design, be it from item design, quality of life suggestions. A lot of that comes directly from the community.
Launch 444 asks, will this DLC make changes to the main game story or explain the aftermath of the player's choices in the first part of the campaign? This DLC has a completely new, unique campaign, separate from the base campaign of Remnant. So we won't make any changes necessarily to the story in that campaign, but this takes place 1 year after the events of that campaign. Players will get to find out what kind of happened on Earth and see that the Earth is still infested by the Root. So the story takes the player on a journey to try to stop the last holdout of the Root and find out how to stop them.
Jared at GM says, do you need to finish the base game campaign in order to access the 2923 new campaign mode? You do not, actually. So you could purchase Remnant or start Remnant from scratch and go right into that campaign if you want. It's just we thought it would be cool to give you that freedom. It will probably make more sense if you understand what's going on in the story in general, but it's a nice self-contained little campaign there, and you can do it first if you want. You can get all the cool items out of that first and then go back to the main story if you really want to. So, yeah, it's up to you. Blind Man Bluff asks, what changes, improvements, rewards are coming to survival mode with Subject 2923? We're looking at tweaking the initial difficulty for players that were having trouble getting the 10 kills achievement, which obviously rewards you with the hero sword. We're also giving you an alternate way to obtain those rewards. In terms of actual items and rewards, there's just a ton of stuff. It's just going to be a different experience, right? There's new builds in the game in general. There's tons of new items, new combinations, along with the new bosses as well. It's going to be a blast, I think.
So the question was, for us, what was it like working with Intel on Remnant's development? Intel was really a rock-solid partner for us on Remnant's development. We had basically always been dealing with this visual issue of popping that occurs in all of our previous games. Intel really assisted us with a solution to this problem. For those of you not familiar, Unreal utilizes a hardware occlusion method that utilizes previous frame data to try and determine what to render of that frame. Unfortunately, if you give a player a controller, they're capable of rotating and moving very rapidly. These movements cause occasionally visual popping where you can see through an object that has not yet rendered that frame. Intel provided us with a software masked occlusion culling method, and that same frame software occlusion method allowed us to basically just remove the issue entirely. Until Intel had given us this technology, we had been plagued with this on all previous projects.
So Shaytob asks, how many new guns, weapon mods, and traits are there for Subject 2923? I don't know if we want to spoil the total amount of items. I will say there's actually more trinkets, so rings and amulets, than there were in the retail-based game, if that should give you any idea. There's new mini-bosses, there's a new main biome, which means there's at least 4, but I don't want to spoil the exact amount, but I'm sure you guys will find that stuff out really quick, and I look forward to finding out what kind of builds you make with them.
Kill of Kings asks, are we going to learn more about the Root in the DLC and maybe even see their world? So this DLC is very much focused on the story of the Root and the Dreamers and how they are connected. There's a lot of fun lore to find throughout the game that kind of gives a backstory of the initial parts of the Dreamer project. You actually will journey to Ward Prime, which was the first ward, and you'll find a lot of fun lore there, and you kind of uncover how the Dreamers worked a lot more, as well as how they interacted with the Guardians on the different worlds, and how the Root used that to infest Earth. We're all really excited at Gunfire Games for everyone to get their hands on this new DLC.
There's tons of new builds, tons of new mods, trinkets.
I'm super excited for the upcoming release of Subject 2923 for Remnant.
We're really proud of what we've done, and I think it really shows in the game.
I'm sure you guys are going to come up with some crazy stuff that we never even thought of.
I hope you guys are excited to play it.